What were some of the hardest obstacles that you personally had to deal with and overcome? Maybe you can touch on a couple on any of the ventures, and reflect on that.
I think one that as a leader we often have to overcome is kind of the silence and loneliness of the stress of being an actual entrepreneur, right? And prior to social media and even now during social media, there's almost not a single entrepreneur on the planet that in the day of having a problem shares that problem. We might talk about the problem 5 years later. We might talk about what went well and how we almost went bankrupt after we've recovered. But nobody is out there going, I can't pay my bills right now. I'm struggling right now. The banks have said no to me. I'm not paying myself. I have an employee who is stealing from me. Somebody committed fraud. I got embezzled. Somebody scammed me and I got my Facebook accounts taken away. My best employee just got poached. Two of my employees just quit without notice. Nobody shares that until a year or two later. So it's really hard in the day-to-day to be an entrepreneur, to be a COO. You feel the vacuum of loneliness unless you're in a mastermind like YPO or an EO or a Genius Network where you can share with others. But I think we've made entrepreneurship so trendy and so cool and such a beautiful, oh, here I am on the beach flying private. Yeah, cool. But nobody's sharing all the bad stuff. And I think I've had to learn how to navigate those bad times and stressful times by being vulnerable, by finding a tribe of people I can be open and honest with, by recognizing that I can show up with some vulnerability with my employees, but not all of it. I can't tell all my employees I'm scared because then they get scared. So there's a bit of it's navigating that loneliness and that fear cycle and those problems and having the mentors, having a coach, having a community to share with. Otherwise, you just implode. I literally imploded 25 years ago. I was written up in the Wall Street Journal as somebody whose career went very high and flamed out with stress. And it's because I didn't have good, healthy habits to get through that stuff. I used to drink, I used to smoke, I wasn't healthy. So I wasn't dealing with the stress. I was kind of masking it or hiding from it. And I've really had to learn from that.
I think you're quite right. You're hitting on something that's very near and dear to my heart, where that entrepreneurship is often glorified. In fact, the actual journey is quite hard, emotionally draining, impacts everyone around you and your family, and there's a heavy toll that gets paid. But learning how to navigate and get the support systems in place is something they don't teach you in business school. None of us entrepreneurs are prepared for this, and then you're thrust into it 3, 4, 5 years into the entrepreneurial journey, looking for help. I'm glad you're speaking out about it, Cameron. I think you're helping a lot of entrepreneurs and C-level executives